Please pause to read the disclaimer. I estimated that there are about 145 hiking trails with 400 miles in Oahu. You may have noticed that I don't day hike as much, or at least weekly. It's because I started playing golf 2 to 3 times per week, and surfing 2 to 4 times per week. We finally had a chance to hike. We decided to hike the Kulepeamoa and Hawaii Loa Ridges loop. The Hawaii Loa Ridge is one of 3 hikes that I recommend in Koolau mountain ranges, Oahu. Other 2 hikes are Kuilouou Ridge and Wiliwilinui Ridge. Kulepeamoa and Hawaii Loa Ridges are located in eastern Oahu. It's about 7 miles from Waikiki. It was about only 5.8 miles loop, but with whopping 3,300 feet elevation gain. Its loop is very tough and a strenuous hike. 3 tough hikers were Leon, Mike, and Isaac. This video was taken at the end of hiking. Trail started from the end of Aunalani Street. There were plenty of parking spaces on the curbside in residential area. Walk north on Aunalani Street to this cul-de-sac. Its trail started between the Hawaiian rock wall and chain link fence that belongs to Honolulu Board of Water Supply. I hiked this trail 2 times before, but was not like this. I had to bushwhack. It was full of tall grass and was a narrow trail. Now, its beginning of the trail had been cleared of the bushes and widened very nicely. This was less than 0.2 miles. So far, it's been very nice. Then, we saw these newly installed brushing shoes station and a new sign. Wow, I was impressed with its trail improvement. I hiked this trail about 3 and 5 years ago. Then, it was very different with tall grass and unclear trails. I had to rely on my Garmin GPS unit to navigate. So far, we did not need my GPS to navigate. This gate was new as well. It had 2 gates on the trail. Crossed the dried creek and continued north direction. This was about 0.3 miles in. I used my GPS to confirm that we were on the trail and headed to the Kulepeamoa Ridge. This was about 0.4 miles in. Past this huge tree on the left. I forgot to mention that this valley had lots of huge mango trees. It was a mango season in Hawaii. Leon and I picked up some mangoes from ground. Its tree was very tall and not recommended to climb up the trees to pick the mangoes. This was about 0.6 miles in and started to steep climb to the Kulepeamoa Ridge. It gains about 720 feet in elevation in 0.4 miles. It's one of 2 steepest portions for the hike. Somebody put some fresh ribbons on the trail. So far, its trail has been very well maintained, unlike 3 years ago. This was the 2 of 2 fence gates. Its trail has been very nice. Trail junction is right after this second gate as well. After the junction, this was one of steepest portions. Here were Leon and Mike. We still had about 0.5 miles to climb up, gaining about 600 feet in elevation. Saw this beautiful wild orchid on the way up to the ridge. It's a season for the flowers in Oahu. This was near the top of the ridge, meaning that the beginning of the Kulepeamoa Ridge. The ridge to the left is the Hawaii Loa Ridge that we will come down, making a loop. This was a very nice spot for a break with pine needle carpets. I recalled that we took a break when we hiked this trail 3 years ago. It has a very nice trade wind breeze as well. We were on the Kulepeamoa Ridge. To the east, we could see the Hinoma Bay Ridge, Cocoa Head, and the Kuleouou Ridge. We were on the Ridgeline Trail. I always liked this pine needle carpet trail. This was about 1.3 miles in. There were some open ridge sections about 1/3 way up to the top. It was quite windy, as you see that Mike was holding his hat in his hand. I had a chin strap on my hat. We could see the Koolau summit way up there. Unlike the Hawaii Loa Ridge, Kulepeamoa Ridge had several ups and downs. Most of its trail was full of vegetations and bushes. Highly recommend to wear long pants. Its trail is not popular as the Hawaii Loa Ridge. As you might have noticed already, I wore long pants and long sleeve shirt to prevent getting scratched up. These Hawaiian ferns are quite sharp and could easily cut you up if you were not wearing long pants and long sleeve shirt. These ferns grow quickly and get sharp, so trail maintenance is quite difficult in Oahu trails. We had been hiking for 2 hours at time 0930. This was one of dicey spots in 1,860 feet in elevation. The summit in 2,570 feet elevation is about 0.5 miles away. It's still tough since we needed to gain about 700 feet in elevation. We were back on an open ridge. Look at this narrow ridgeline. Each step needed to be taken gingerly. If you are afraid of heights, its trail is not for you. I am okay with this. As you see, I could easily walk on this even with GoPro in my hand. Leon and Mike were hiking excellent in the front. This was about 2.5 miles in. This was one of 2 flat spots. People usually take a break here, but we continued on. We were less than 0.4 miles to the summit. Here we were again hiking through thick brushes. There were a bunch of these trails that I omitted a lot. Highly recommend to wear long pants. Here was another scrambling section. Once again, if you are afraid of height and not a good scrambler, its trail is not for you. Here was a video of Mike and Isaac taken by Leon. Its video had very nice presentation of its tough trail. Leon did very well for his age of close to 79 years old. This was around 10 o'clock and 0.2 miles away from the summit. It's actually steep and narrow ridgeline that did not really show on this GoPro recording. Less than 0.1 miles to the summit, here were Leon and Mike. The background is the south shore of Oahu. This was just below the summit. It looked dicey but was not. Unfortunately, the clouds moved back and that obscured the views to all directions. Luckily, it did not rain though. Earlier, it had some blue skies. We just had some views in patches of holes. It took us 3 hours to the Koolau summit on Kulepeamoa Ridge at 10:30. It was quite windy and cloudy all around. At the summit, you will see Waimanalo, Olamana, Kuilouou, and Kaneohe to the north, and Coco Head, Hinoma Bay Ridge, Diamond Head, Waikiki, Airport, and Waianae Mountain ranges to the south. Here was our selfie at the Koolau summit on Kulepeamoa Ridge. After 20 minutes break at the Koolau summit in 2,576 feet elevation, we headed to the Hawaii Loa Ridge summit in 2,607 feet elevation. It's 0.4 miles traverse on Koolau Summit Trail. Its trail is not maintained. Here were Leon and Mike traversing on Koolau Summit Trail. To left, it's Waimanalo, Olamana 3 Peaks, Kuilouou Bay, and Kaneohe Bay. Here was another view of the Koolau Summit Trail traversing from Kulepeamoa Ridge to Hawaii Loa Ridge. Here was another close look at the Koolau Summit Trail from Kulepeamoa Ridge to Hawaii Loa Ridge. We were about 2/3 way to the Hawaii Loa Ridge. This was the Koolau summit on Hawaii Loa Ridge in 2,607 feet in elevation. It was the highest point for the day. Thick fog made more obscure of the surrounding. We immediately headed down on Hawaii Loa Ridge. Just before leaving the Hawaii Loa Ridge summit, here was our selfie. We just left the Hawaii Loa Ridge summit. As you noticed, the trails were well maintained. Of course, it had wonderful views to the south. The first 0.4 miles are quite steep, losing 600 feet in elevation. Here was another view of the steep section. Trails had been eroded a lot over the years, exposing those step barriers. Please be careful with those step barriers. Here were Mike and Leon enjoying the views to the south. This is a famous spot in deep trenches on Hawaii Loa Ridge. Looked like they were in the cave. Less than 1 mile from the summit, there are some deep trenches like this. It would certainly make your pants muddy. Needed to take extra cautions on these deep trenches for possible ankle injuries. This was about halfway down on Hawaii Loa Ridge. It's a very nice trail. I mentioned earlier that this trail is one of 3 trails that I would recommend getting to the Koolau summit. Other 2 trails are Wiliwilinui Ridge Trail and Kuilouou Ridge Trail. When we passed about 1.2 miles from the Hawaii Loa Ridge summit, this was the trail junction heading down to the valley below the Kulepeamoa Ridge where we started. It's easy to miss, but there was a ribbon indicating its trail junction. Of course, I also used my Garmin GPS to confirm that we were on the right trail. Its trail is very steep, losing 800 feet elevation in just 0.4 miles. It's the steepest portion of our day hike. Here was another view of its steep trail. Invasive strawberry guava trees are the lifesavers. Look at both Mike and Leon using their both arms going down the steep hill. This was indeed the steepest trail of the day. Interestingly, when I hiked this trail 3 years ago, I saw a solo hiker coming up this trail. It's a good workout for sure. This was the second of 2 gates that we saw when we were coming up earlier. This was very close to trail junction between the ridges. Look at this interesting tree. Its root have wrapped around a big boulder. In this area, there were lots of big mango trees. It's a mango season. We saw lots of mangoes on the ground. We were back at the trailhead, at the cul-de-sac of Aunalani Street. The total time was just short of 6 hours. Thanks for watching my video. I am a free Hawaii hiking trail guide. Hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel and be notified when I make a new video of my outdoor activities.